Case 5.
I can do this one.
Okay.
So from low power, we're seeing a well-circumscribed mass in the dermis. You can see vessels, and you can also see eosinophilic smooth muscle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the benign nature of this, you would combine the vessels and the smooth muscle, and it would be like an angioleiomyoma.
Very good. Angioleiomyoma, or another way you could think of it is leiomyoma, vascular type, which sometimes I'll put in parentheses. And the other type of leiomyoma in the skin would be the pilar type, or leiomyoma, pilar type. Most places in the body, smooth muscle tumors, both benign and malignant, except for like the uterus or the GI tract, like that are smooth muscle based organs, or very rarely the bladder. Those are smooth muscle organs. You can get smooth muscle tumors there, particularly the uterus, but rarely also in the GI tract or the bladder. But outside of that setting, everywhere else in the body, smooth muscle tumors, benign ones, leiomyomas, and malignant ones, leiomyosarcomas, come from vascular smooth muscle and almost always arise in association with a vessel. And for some strange reason, it's almost always a vein, a muscular vein, not an artery. I don't know why that is. Both of them have smooth muscle, but it seems like veins are what give rise to smooth muscle tumors. The only other exception is in the skin, in the dermis, you can get pilar smooth muscle. The erector pili muscle can give rise to leiomyomas. So you have erector pili muscle in the dermis that gives rise to pilar type leiomyomas. You have uterine or other smooth muscle viscera that can give rise to smooth muscle tumors. And then everywhere else in the body, they pretty much all come from vessels. So these are usually in the subcutis, and we can tell this is subcutis even without seeing much fat around it because it's popped out, right? Things in the subcutis that are circumscribed masses often shell out and bring a very small amount of tissue with them. They might have a little fat attached, they might not. Things in the dermis don't often pop out. They usually will bring some epidermis with them. And if you're down deep, like in skeletal muscle, they're not going to usually pop out. They're going to bring some skeletal muscle with them. So anytime on a test you see a round circumscribed nodule with not much normal tissue attached, you're a good bet, especially if it's a derm-related test. I mean, a general surgeon can go anywhere in the body and pop out a little nodule or something, right? But anything that comes from an outpatient clinic is almost certainly going to be a subcutaneous mass. So that's a nice clue for testing, even if you're not being told. And the reason that's important is some things don't occur in the subcutis or almost always occur in the subcutis, right? So occasionally that can help you to know what's going on. But these are usually perfectly circumscribed like this. They're like a round little marble. They're often tender and painful. They're on that list of, what is it, Lenden egg or angels. The problem with all the derm mnemonics is I can't remember what the letters stand for, but I think it stands for, the A in angels stands for angioleiomyoma, right? So they are often tender or painful. They're in the subcutis often in young adults, more common in women, more common on the legs, like the lower leg. Not 100%, but I definitely do see these on the leg more often. And they are made of smooth muscle. And unlike if you're used to seeing uterine smooth muscle tumors, these look quite different. The smooth muscle of the uterus is special. It's gynecologic type. It has kind of a different texture and appearance. And you're not going to see all these vessels here. And you see much better, well-developed fascicles that are intersecting at 90-degree angles. Here, the fascicles kind of swirl and whirl together in between the vessels. And then you get vessels, some of which are small, thick-walled vessels. Some are bigger, kind of thinner-walled vessels. Vessels of all different size and shape. Sometimes you will see like one large single lumen in the middle, like a big donut. Sometimes you'll see, and that's like the vessel that the angioleiomyoma arose from. Sometimes you'll see a vessel like that at the edge, and this will be bulging off the surface of a vein. And then other times you don't see a dominant vessel, you just see lots and lots of different vessels of all different type. And then sometimes also the vessels can get some intimal kind of reactive change, kind of myxoid change. That's a kind of a common reactive phenomenon in both arteries and veins. So seeing some bluish mucin or myxoid change in the pathology language inside a vessel is kind of a normal finding, and you can see it in all sorts of reactive settings and even in some lesions. So if you're like, why is it blue? That's why. It's a weird phenomenon that happens that I think is mostly reactive. Sometimes you can get edema in these, and sometimes you can get fat in these. And in the olden days, people erroneously called those Angioleiomyoma. People in DermPath did. And I think probably because they didn't realize that name was already taken, or maybe they did, no offense to any of those authors. But Angioleiomyoma is actually a word for a special type of tumor that occurs on the kidney most often, and is actually a form of PCOMA and has an association with tuberous sclerosis and stains with HMB45 and smooth muscle markers. And that form almost always arises on the kidney or sometimes elsewhere in the peritoneal cavity, and essentially almost never in the soft tissue or the skin. And so anyway, we wrote a paper about that about 10 years ago. I'm still waiting for the Nobel Committee to call, saying that you can have fat. In our study, we found almost 20% of angioleiomyomas had a little bit of fat in them. And we just, whether it's fatty metaplasia or fat that somehow gets entrapped in development, doesn't matter. The point is, if you see fat in an angioleiomyoma, that's fine. Just call it angioleiomyoma and don't worry about the fat at all. Don't move on it, or just move on. It doesn't mean anything. All right. And if you see something like this, but it looks more blue and cellular, more abundant spindle cells and less pink cytoplasm, and is kind of whirly and swirly, maybe arising in the luminal vessel, then another entity you can think of is called myopericytoma. And I feel like they look a lot like angioleiomyoma at low power, but they're more spindly, more cellular, more swirly. They're also benign. I've got an example of one of those on Kiko. If you want to see an example, you can go look on my Kiko index to see myopericytoma. I think it's worth learning about because it'll kind of trigger the same you'll be thinking about angioleiomyoma, but it's kind of weird. It kind of looks different, and that's a really good thing to keep in your differential if you see something like this, but it looks a little funny. All right? Nice example. Oh, yeah, and then oftentimes smooth muscle has little vacuoles of glycogen snacks, as my derm residents always like to say, next to the nucleus, and that's a common feature in smooth muscle lesions. All right, any questions?